You like pork? In this restaurant, they call it pig. The same pig, by the way, that was happily rooting and grazing just outside the kitchen window yesterday. Blue Hill Restaurant, that's up next on Chefs Afield. Manhattan, home to just about every cuisine in the world, where you can feast on falafel, fiddleheads, or foie gras. One of New York's most noted chefs, Dan Barber, runs a place called Blue Hill. For that matter, two places called Blue Hill. The original restaurant sits in one of the oldest parts of Manhattan, Greenwich Village. And this restaurant, Blue Hill at Stone Barns, in a barn complex built by the Rockefeller family 80 years ago, just north of the city in pretty Pocantico Hills.
We actually thought about a ton of names, and we settled on Blue Hill sort of at the last minute, right before we had to go to press on the business cards and all that. And it's funny because obviously there could be no other name for the restaurant now.
Blue Hill, named after Dan Barber's grandmother's farm. It is here, tucked in the gentle old Berkshire Mountains, that the seeds of Dan Barber's culinary career were first planted. There he was, bent over the pea patch, yanking weeds out of the soil and picking berries.
And my grandmother's right there, buried right there, overlooking us. So my feeling is like she felt very strongly about the farm continuing as kind of a farm and preserving the open space. Every morning she had me come out here and weed this patch, and then the raspberry patches, I had to fill up 5 quarts. I mean, it was a lot thicker back then.
Dan Barber spent summers here as a boy, planting, hoeing, listening, learning.
I spent so many summers here with my grandmother, and I used to cook with her. And she wasn't much of a cook, but I sort of wanted to take care of her, and I took on the responsibility of cooking. I kind of pretended I knew exactly what I was doing, and then I was in love with the idea and all that. So did I learn how to cook here? No. Was I inspired by the connection with the land? I think I probably was.
In the springtime, for a celebration of planting, Dan and the farmer here, Jack Algier, invite the kitchen staff of Blue Hill Restaurant out to Grandma's old farm in the mountains. Here, they get their hands in the dirt, experience food from the ground up, seeds and seedlings.
So this is an opportunity for them to experience the soil, get out of the city, get out of the heat of the kitchen, and literally plant the seeds for what they're going to use in the next couple months. I got beets going down for you.
Yes.
You're going to be cooking with beets. Who's going to be using the sunflowers? You're going to be using the sunflower seeds. And zucchinis. Where's Manuele?
Maybe it'd just be just as easy since there's so many people just to lay the seed by hand.
Yeah.
I think we should do that. So here we go.
So all the way down the row, right?
Yep.
Then you're going to make another row?
Yeah, we're going to make another row while you're seeding that.
Not many restaurant cooks and waiters get this sort of opportunity to connect heart and soul with the foods they serve. This connection with the soil is at the core of Blue Hill's philosophy of cooking. That is, grow local, eat local, the fewest miles between the farm and the serving plate. At the namesake restaurant, in the old milking barn on the famous Rockefeller estate at Pocantico Hills, is the Stone Barns Center for Food and Agriculture, founded by David Rockefeller to teach about farmland preservation and cultivation of local, sustainable foods. Here at Stone Barns, the cows, sheep, chickens, pigs, and vegetables are just outside the kitchen window. The restaurant is an operating, living extension of the organic farm outside. Nearly everything served was grown, picked, and nourished right here.
Open space.
Jack Algier cultivates the produce. He's been a park ranger in Costa Rica and a sharecropper doing organic produce in California. Jack's counterpart on the range, so to speak, is Craig Haney. Haney's family has farmed around here for 8 generations. It's Craig who is in charge of the farm's livestock: chickens, pigs, turkey, sheep, cattle.
These are 7 weeks, which means we're going to look at like 5-pound birds, 4.5 pounds?
Yeah, dressed are going to be about 5-pound birds. These particular strains that they use, it's a cross between a White Rock and a Cornish. You know, Cornish roosters and White Rock females. Yeah, so
Oh boy.
so those are big.
So the breasts are just, they're getting so big.
They're big, yeah. I mean, you can feel when we're talking about how quickly they grow, you can feel the heat of the bird.
Yeah.
Just like how, how.
Oh my God, that's incredible. And you find that the muscles in the legs, their legs are getting so big just to support the weight of the breast, right?
The shanks of the legs themselves,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, buddy. I don't want you to be stressed out. You're gonna be tough when I saute you. Obviously, the freshness and the fact that they're pastured.
Yeah, and eating good grain.
Good grain. It's 100% organic grain, right?
Yeah.
So all of that makes it, I think, the best chicken we've ever cooked with. And I'm not just saying that because of the romance of being able to come out here and pick it. And so you're doing a lot of things right. All right, let's move them.
There's a couple of reasons we want to move the pens twice a day. One of them is to give the chickens fresh grass and insects, all the other things they're going to find in the new spot. But also, we want to fertilize, then don't want them to leave too much behind.
So what is it in the manure that's going to make the grass come back so healthfully?
Well, it has all the things that you're looking for: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all that. Chicken manure actually, by weight, is the most powerful of fertilizers. Okay, I think you got it, Dan.
That's enough?
Yeah, you got it. That's good.
That makes the circle. Keep the animals moving. Keep the soil healthy and productive. Each creature with a contribution to make. The chickens nourish the grasses for the next crowd to come along and graze. These guys. There's harmony here, a meshing of interests. And the pigs, rooting happily in the forest, enjoying their dirt baths. All this is good for them and good for the health of the forest, too.
It's amazing how fast they've cleared all this out.
I know, it is
Every
amazing.
time I walk up here, they really go to work, don't they?
Yeah, they have a good time at it. That's why we like to keep them in the woods, is that they basically are having a good time. They've got a nice life here.
The best things about these breeds are they're fun to play with and fun to look at. Besides the taste and besides the... you're a little runt, aren't you? Besides the taste and besides their ability to be happy just alone in the forest. It's 100% Berkshires, right?
Yep, all Berks. Yeah, we're raising Berkshires because we like the way they taste. They tend to carry more marbling in their meat. They also carry a nicer fat cover.
The marbling is, the ratio between the fat and the meat is perfectly distributed, which is a great thing for a chef.
They do get grain twice a day. They get a good organic grain. Then they also like foraging. I mean, you can see what they've been turning over here. So they love to be in the woods, partly for all the what they call mass, acorns, beech nuts. There's even a thing called a pig nut hickory that we have around. They like all that kind of stuff. Besides other things they might find, roots or...
You're a big hog, God dang.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. Can't wait to get you in my walk-in.
Some find it uncomfortable to be talking about the taste of a pig while standing right next to it. But there is a sincerity in this, as Dan Barber insists, on letting diners know precisely where their meal is coming from. Folks at the restaurant are encouraged to order not ham or pork, but pig. It's right there on the menu. I'll have the pig, please.
I think I'm one of the first menus to say pig. I felt like we're on a farm, and so the association should be to farm animals and not to something that further disassociates ourselves from what we're eating. We're giving them the happiest, most enjoyable life, allowing them to express their pigness. And we're creating a market so that the Berkshire breed will survive.
When there's pig on your plate, what goes good with it? You want to side with that pig?
I side dressed them all with crab meal and soft rock.
Jack Algier has a big job here, literally. There are 4 acres of organic vegetables, and the greenhouse is a jumbo, 20,000 square feet, half an acre, churning out organic vegetables for Blue Hill Restaurant and other fortunate customers.
Well, look at this guy here.
Snow White.
That's a prize there, buddy.
Wow, beautiful. The weather keeps it so white, right? Isn't that part of it, the cold snap, or no?
Yeah, the cold and the sun, too. Not as intense. And the sun's really hot. Oh, it's so sweet.
Unbelievable. Oh my God. That would be the best garlic I've ever had.
Yeah, I think so.
Whoa!
When people get to experience this,
Yeah, forget it. That's all you need. We wouldn't need any more shows like Chefs Afield. Everyone would be growing their own anyway. It's not just the sweetness, which is a big part of it. I cannot believe the sugar content in it. It's incredible. But it's also complex. I mean, you really taste the cauliflower. All right.
yeah, that sort of sulfury, what would you call that flavor that these things usually have?
Sulfur, it's a little bitter, more complex. Seems to like have its own vinaigrette in this thing. It's like, it's acid. Incredible.
This late stuff, now that
Yeah.
the nights are getting down
and that's
to
what
like
cauliflower is meant to grow in.
35
right?
degrees, 38
All
degrees.
the starches are sugars, right? Isn't that what happens?
This stuff will, cauliflower will make it through a good snow. We've knocked snow off the top of these things, off broccoli,
Really?
off cauliflower. Yeah, we'll be able to pick this well past the frost. So the flavor will just keep getting better.
I mean, look at that. It's like, again, like butter.
Cauliflower is an excellent source of vitamin C, as much or more than an orange. California does artichokes, everybody knows that. So who would try to cultivate them in New York?
This is
As
the
far as I'm
end.
concerned, it might be the end, but it's still the most exciting part of the farm.
Yeah.
And what were you thinking growing artichokes in New York State? I really doubted you, Jack.
I had a feeling it was going to happen. You know what?
What? You had a
I
feeling
wish-
it wasn't going to happen?
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I figured it was worth a try. We can only grow them as annuals. Start them real early in the winter and give them a nice hard cold shock. Convince them that they're older than they really are.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's right. We push them right into puberty.
Maturity?
That's right. And they have make it or break
That's what
it.
happened to me growing up in Manhattan.
This is the bottom, the wettest spot. And the wettest spot at the bottom of the hill actually produced the artichokes latest in the season. And the drier it was, it forced that flower to come out earlier.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow,
maybe
what a
the
reversal.
sweetness may have come. Yeah, it really
That's
was.
so interesting.
It's pretty opposite. So next year what we'll do is cut out all our cabbages and grow 3 times as many artichokes. We feel like we got the plan down. If it doesn't,
You don't think
see,
you'll have a harder time the second year?
No, because we're rotating our crop. We're not growing them here again. This isn't like Watsonville where the same crop stays there for several years. Or
Yeah.
this comes from seed every year, and it's in a new place. It's like brand new every year.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
We took some of these and peeled them and raw, stuck them in a jar with olive oil. They were unbelievable. They were so sweet and they had just flavor bursting out of them. It was incredible.
Jack grows more than 200 varieties of crops year-round at stone barns, some outdoors and some under glass.
I know.
The big greenhouse lengthens the seasons. Spring starts earlier, summer lasts longer here.
What things grow better in the greenhouse?
Probably everything would grow better in the greenhouse because way more control. We have a lot more intensive control of the water and the soil. We're starting all our own crops inside. We're making our own compost. In here, we have the ability to do things a lot faster, cut things short and recycle things in faster time. It's a more efficient example of what basically happens outside.
This is kind of the heart and soul of the whole project. Because talking about and supporting these issues of locality and seasonality and community and all the rest is very hard to do from December to June, right?
If you have a greenhouse working just right, it's June all year round. It works this way. When you park your car outdoors on a sunny day and go shopping, you come back and the car is really hot inside. That's how a greenhouse works. That's how you can grow tomatoes and arugula in a New York winter.
Pick these are some young ones. Let's see what we have going on here. These are babies.
Yeah.
It's nice though, like that, right?
We cook them in carrot juice and they explode with that carrot goodness, the carrot sweetness.
You like them bigger? You like them bigger. That's fine with me.
Just bigger because we're gonna cut them anyway.
We got a lot of fennel coming, more rotation. Salsify's planted for the midwinter.
Yeah, nice.
And this parsley just keeps.
Yeah, it's like a
Keeps rocking,
forest,
man.
man. It's awesome.
This variety is just a really incredible Italian variety, come from Florence. A little different than the ones that we're getting from the seed companies around here.
It has a natural sweetness to it.
We've got to give some credit to the soil.
I'll give credit to the soil.
Why not?
Yes, Jack Algier does give a lot of credit to the soil. His hands are in it all the time. He has to make certain it's clean of pesticides and other poisons. The soil is Jack's life.
Before we ever really talked about what you were doing, I came down here to see what you were planting. I remember seeing Tokyo Bakai to Claytonia, Rouge d'Ivet, and then and I got to Minutina. I looked at this grass growing. I thought, I am with a freak, and I've got to build a menu around this guy. I thought I was in a Berkeley kibbutz in 1969.
You have to keep it exciting.
It was really funny to look down this row, and I was just thinking, how am I going to make a salad of grass?
Well, we like it, right?
Oh man.
We like this stuff. It makes the salad look wild.
I mean, the best thing I like about this is it complements all the other greens. But when you look at the salad visually, you know, you got these little blades sticking out, and you feel like you just stuck your hand in the middle of a field and put it on the plate. That's a great, I mean, that adds to the taste sensations. They're really strong flavored. You can't use too much of this.
Yeah, just a little bit, but visually, right?
That's where it's at.
And now from the garden to the kitchen, the shorter the trip, the better. Here, it's only a few steps. And that's the message of Stone Barns. The shorter the trip, the better.
We're making chicken soup. It's just a very rich chicken stock that has an assortment of seasonal vegetables. And the beauty of this for the soup, especially, is that we're able to utilize whatever comes in off the field. And what is a little bit frustrating about the farmer connection with the restaurant is that it's not always idyllic. We don't always know what's coming in off the field on a daily basis. And a soup like this allows us the maneuverability to adjust to what Jack and Craig bring in from the fields. What I've done is taken the breast and vacuum packed it in the sous vide process and essentially steam it at a very low steam temperature in a special oven. And the point is of this technique is that instead of, let's say, roasting a chicken at a very high 500-degree temperature and crisping the skin and getting that delicious, perfumey poultry flavor, in this case we're doing the exact opposite, but to get a similar result in the sense that we're bringing out the essence of the chicken. But the goal is to never let the proteins coagulate. So we're doing it at very low temperature, and the chicken is basically relaxing. And the flavor of the chicken is from the ability of the chicken to be happy and express its chickenness. So I've taken some vegetables from our walk yesterday, and for the most part started the cooking process already separately from the chicken soup. So I have here some beans from the farm, some fresh summer beans from the farm. I have some zucchini from the farm that we've just diced up. I've cooked the beans, a little bit of olive oil and vegetable stock. The zucchini is raw, and we're going to put in the soup at the last minute. These are carrots from the greenhouse. I've just glazed them very simply in some vegetable stock and a little olive oil. These are artichokes that we were dealing with yesterday. I've peeled them, put them in a little bit of acidulated water, and I'm just going to take out the core and then chop it in equal size wedges here. I have a pan that's warm with a little olive oil and just get them sauteing. And I want a little bit of color. I want to caramelize the sugars a little bit and cook them through to the point that they taste soft and perfumey and delicious. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. The other thing I have here is cauliflower. Usually for this soup, I normally blanch this a little bit and cook it, but since we just picked it, I think it was so sweet and full of sugar, I'm just going to cut very thin slices, and I think we'll just float this in the soup. It's so pretty and white, and it was so sweet. I'm going to use the cores as well. That'll be enough for our soup. So for the chickens, I'm going to take the breast meat out. It's now, a little bit above room temperature. It's nice and relaxed. I'm going to take the chicken wings and oysters out of the water. And for our demonstration here, I'll do a wing and an oyster. And I'll just season them a little bit. This is a chicken stock that we've reinforced sometimes 3 times, sometimes 2 times, depending on the intensity of the flavor. We've reduced it, skimmed it of all its fat, and it's basically it's somewhere between a chicken soup and an intense chicken soup and a chicken consommé. Take those wings. We're going to take these are some blanched turnips, some blanched carrots. These are the beans. So we're going to reheat those just a little bit. I've got the dumplings warm. I've now got the wings and the oysters warm. Seared the skin just a little bit. And we've got our artichokes. So to plate, put in a few of these artichokes. Take the dumplings. Gonna slice our bird. Ladle in some soup with the veggies. The chicken, oysters, and wings. Stick in our breast here. And then I just would like to garnish this with a little pieces of cauliflower. And we'll float some of these herbs from the garden. It's beautiful chervil and parsley and marigold. So that's basically it. It's a poached chicken breast, which is cooked sous vide. We've got the chicken dumplings and the oysters and wings, and then a stew of vegetables from the farm. Some raw, some cooked through, and some that are gently heating in the broth. And we've garnished it with some herbs from the garden. So now we're making an end of summer bean salad with pistachios and apricots. Of the 35 greens that are down at the greenhouse, we picked a good mix of them. I'd say there are probably 15 mixed greens in here. Got the kale, got the bianca riccia, we got the arugula, got the beet top, we've got the rouge d'Hiver, we've got the minutina greens, so all of which we saw in the greenhouse. I'm gonna mix in herbs from the herb garden and also a few more microgreens, but tons of herbs: parsley, tarragon, chervil, chives, mint, cilantro. So very simple. And take a couple tablespoons of the Panther soybeans. For the haricot vert, we really love to work with the string beans when they're most thin. So we don't like when they grow thick and stringy. These are just sweet and delicious and very easy to work with. And then this is a little bit of that dried apricot, which we'll mix in here. And then pistachios, which I love. The thing I've noticed cooking with these greens is that you need about half the vinaigrette that I would normally use. There's so much acid in the greens naturally. There's so much flavor that the vinaigrette's there just in the background. It should be. So I use just a tiny bit just to coat them. It's lemon oil infused with lemon peel, olive oil, and we put just a tablespoon of mustard to make an emulsion to bind the vinaigrette. That's it for the salad. Always add salt and pepper directly onto the salad. I like lots of pepper. I think it complements the greens as well. Some of them are very peppery, and you need quite a bit of fresh pepper to stand up to them. So I'm going to take my hands and just mix this very, very gently. Doesn't need a lot of mixing. Take a clump of it and put it down here. Late summer bean salad, pistachios, apricots, tons of herbs. I love salad greens that are full of flavor, and it's so hard to get. And I think Jack does, probably of all the farming he does, the best thing and his thing that he's most passionate about are these different salad greens. They're a little bit unknown. They're so full of flavor. They're so delicious. It has a tremendous amount of nutrient density in it, so that when you're eating, you feel healthful, you feel light, you feel in touch with the greenhouse.